So I have this uncle who's got a friend, and this friend kind of petty criminal all his life, grew up in the system, as they say, and so he been to court so many times. He's very used to the courtroom sketch artist drawing him. And by the way, really, what is the prerequisite for a courtroom sketch artist? You have to draw the jury more often than not, but you're not allowed to show their faces. So really, you're just drawing 12 ovals, kind of 6 and 6. So really, your only qualification to be a courtroom artist would be, I guess, if you could draw a dozen eggs, is about what you're drawing. And even when you draw like the perp, really, you're drawing him from the side, and you can't really show his face. I mean, do you really have to be able to draw to be a courtroom sketch artist? And and these people usually, start out in like tourist spots, drawing those caricatures of people. So I can see like, the courtroom sketch artist getting kind of bored, and they're at like maybe the Robert Pickton trial, and all of a sudden the picture is like of Robert Pickton's giant head on like a little go-kart. That's really, because really that's what they. So my uncle's friend, he grew up in the system, and he recently got married, and he didn't have a lot of money because, of course, he was, had spent the last, 6 or 7 years in jail, and he was only making 60 cents a week. And that wasn't in currency, that was just in smokes. So, and he couldn't find a photographer that would take smokes as payment. So my uncle thought it'd be funny if he got a courtroom sketch artist to draw the bride and groom, to make this guy feel at home. Of course, this guy saw this woman that he had seen before in court, and he just freaked him out. He thought he was going back to jail. Now, of course, he was, in fact, getting married, so, it felt like jail. And speaking of smokes, now when people rob stores, when they knock over 7-Elevens or Little Gas, Domo gas bars or Mohawk gas bars, they don't take money. They just take the smokes, because the money, these little places only keep, X number of dollars on it. And they want the smokes are so expensive, and they want the smokes. The law enforcement put the dye packs in the little denim money bags, those little denim things. So when they open them, this red dye, indelible dye, goes on the perps' faces, and then the cops can catch them. But see, put the dye packs in the smokes. Or then you're going to catch someone, right? Because these guys, as soon as they knock over a joint, they're lighting up with smoke, right? They're like, rich. They're having a smoke. But the thing is, they go to like a bad part of town where they live, where everyone's a criminal. And, everyone's walking around with dye all over their faces because they've all just knocked over a joint, right? So the cops go, is it him? Is that him? No, they all have dye all over their faces. Speaking of robbing a place, I think I accidentally robbed a 7-Eleven. I know that sounds weird, but here's what, it was like minus 35. I had an old Volvo, and I went into a 7-Eleven, and it was minus 35, and I had a ski mask on because I had been outside starting my Volvo, and I scraped the window, and the thing barely heated, and so I had the ski mask on, and so I pulled the Volvo up in front of the 7-Eleven. And I went into the 7-Eleven wearing the ski mask, not thinking. And I just, I was going in there to get, I don't know, a Slurpee or something. Because, in Manitoba, we still get Slurpees when it's minus 35. And I think I did like, hey, what's that? One of these. And, here's a guy wearing a ski mask doing this. And the worker there just slowly slid the money over and said, just take the money. And I kind of didn't register at first. And I just went, oh, okay, whatever. And I thought maybe it was like some promotion they were having. Everyone got a little denim bag, and I went inside, and my girlfriend was sitting with me, and I said, I think I just robbed a 7-Eleven. Speaking of 7-Elevens, they've created their own world, which is actually kind of a cool world, but it's a bizarro world a little bit. Like the first thing they do, well, even before you get in, on the door frame, when you walk in, there's like a measuring tape. So really, they want to see if you do rob them, they want to know how tall you are. And when you walk into a 7 now, the first thing that whoever's working behind that kind of goes, hey, how's it going, right? And it's like, what? See, what they really should say is, I see you, I know how tall you are, and if you rob me, I'll give a perfect description of you to the police. That's what they should really say, which is, nice when you're a customer. It's nice to know that the first thing they're doing is measuring you up, taking your picture, making sure that if you rob them, they're going to be able to identify you. But you now can get gift certificates at 7-Eleven, which I think is remarkable. It's one thing, you're on your way to a birthday party, you've forgotten a gift, you stop in at 7-Eleven. All right, maybe you get the sunglasses. Maybe you get the camouflage cigarette lighter. I don't know, maybe you get a hoagie. You actually can buy watches at 7-Eleven, not bad. But you can get gift certificates at 7-Eleven. So really now what you're saying is, because if you buy sunglasses at 7-Eleven for someone at a birthday party you're attending, what you're saying to that person is, I forgot until the last second and I went to 7-Eleven and I got you something. All right, that's low enough. You get them a 7-Eleven gift certificate. What you're saying is, I forgot, I was on the way to the party, and I still couldn't be bothered to pick something out for you. I just got you a gift certificate at 7-Eleven. I went there the other morning. I was on my way for an early meeting. I get there by 8 o'clock, right? So I don't have any cash. So I go to the ATM and I take out my $20. And I go get a coffee. I put the 20 down, and of course the teller or the person working, the first thing they say, what do they say? Do you have anything smaller? No. They go, I go, it's your ATM. Why doesn't your ATM give out loonies? It's not my fault. And then of course the next thing they say to you is, well, I don't have change. We've got the time saved. Can you wait 8 minutes? Sure. That's why I come to 7-Eleven for coffee. Is to wait 8 minutes for change and maybe have a nice chat with you who's working at 7-Eleven in the nice red smock. We'll have a chat and see how it's going. See, I always maintain, if you see a white person working at 7-Eleven, all right, the place is probably in the process of being robbed, and the actual worker is probably tied, gagged, and bound in the cooler. All right, and sometimes you'll see the person working behind the counter, and then you'll see the 7-Eleven employee that just got off, and you can tell because he or she is on the other side of the counter. But the one working there and the one out are still having that 7-Eleven, because the only thing they have in common is 7-Eleven. And they have that 7-Eleven speak language, where they go, how many hoagies you make last night? 28. 28? I only made like 24. Oh, no, you got... talk about... It's just, and then I was there last summer, they had a 64-ounce glow-in-the-dark Slurpee cup. So what 7-Eleven's market research has told them is 50 ounces was not enough. You have to go pretty much 2 liters. And B, customers were not able to find their Slurpees in the dark. That's really what... My nephew came over a few months ago, and he stayed over for a night. And he had one of those 64-ounce glow-in-the-dark Slurpee cups. We had to put it on the back porch because it was so bright nobody could fall asleep. And that's maybe why they sell sunglasses at the counter at 7-Eleven, because you can't be anywhere near this glow-in-the-dark Slurpee at nighttime because it just never dies down. It just radiates light all night long. They have their own world at 7-Eleven.